I'm Jessica Hackinson. I'm a reading specialist over here at Coastal Academy, and today I'm going to walk you through Book 2 of Explode the Code. In Book 2, it's expected that students are able to read CVC words, that's consonant, vowel, consonant, simple words like cat or dog, really fluently, and they're ready to go ahead and introduce initial blend sounds. Blends are two sounds that we kind of smush together and they sound like one sound. Let's walk through Lesson 6 of Book 2, Explode the Code. So here's my teacher's edition. Remember, this is where the good teaching happens. The student pages are really isolated from this, so this is a really important tool that you need to make sure that you're teaching from. In Lesson 6, we are introducing initial consonant blends ST, SW, and TW. This is extremely important. I don't know if you've noticed, maybe your student in 1st or 2nd grade might spell swing, S-I-N-G. They might leave those out. It's really difficult for our ears to hear when we're little, so this is a really important lesson. Of course, start with your quick review. This is getting their ears warmed up and ready for the instruction. In this one, we're supposed to ask students to name the common initial blend in each of these words. So they'll give a set of words and they need to identify what the words have in common, the sounds that they have in common. So this one is snoop, snorkel, snap. And so then they would be able to recognize that they both have sn at the beginning. If they don't master this, if they can't do it initially, it is no problem to go ahead and repeat this quick lesson for several days until they do start to get it. It is an exercise that is challenging, so you might want to repeat this, but definitely don't skip it. Very important. Phonemic awareness, again, phonemic awareness is something that you do without print. So this is all based on sounds. You're not going to show your student any letters for these activities. This is all happening in their ears. And so in this book, in Book 2, Lesson 6, what they're asking them to do is add a beginning sound to each word to make a new word. So they'll say, what word do you have if you add s to the beginning of top? And they should be able to identify without looking at any letters or writing anything down that that word would be stop. And this, again, is also a really challenging skill. Feel free to repeat as needed in order for your student to master this. This will set up your teaching of blends really well so that they have the background knowledge to absorb the new information. All right, with this one, again, we're talking about initial blends, ST, SW, and TW. I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to the student edition. This is where you can find your visuals. The teacher's guide will tell you that you need the wall chart and the, I think they're called the Explode the Code card set. You don't really need them because the visuals in the student edition actually line up really well. So they will tell you to show a stamp or talk about the word stamp and ask which sounds they hear at the beginning of stamp. So you can say, do you hear swoop, whoop, or st? And have them identify that. Now, I would use this first page as my actual instruction. This is not something they should have to do independently because you're just introducing the concept. So go through these intentionally with your student. Make sure that they're really hearing the sounds and identifying it and not just circling based on the pictures, okay? If they're flying through this, they've got it. Go ahead and move on to, you can skip some of the pages, by the way. You don't have to complete them all, but you want to make sure if you are skipping to do one from the beginning, couple from the middle, and one from the end to show mastery. So I would go ahead and skip the next one. And I would maybe pick one where they're required to read and write as their guided practice. Walk through a couple of these with them to make sure that they understand what needs to be done. And then go ahead and if they're flying through it, let them complete it independently. If they need some more help, you can do the next one with them, or you can skip it. The idea is to spend time on the concepts they need you to spend time on and fly through the ones that they've already got. Here's a great page for independent practice because they have to read 2 sentences here and identify which one matches the picture so you know they are reading and making meaning from those words. It's a great opportunity for them to practice independently. This is a great time to go ahead and move on to maybe teaching a sibling or anything else you have to do. Let them do this independently. If they've got it, Have them do this one where they're just simply looking at a picture and applying the concept to their spelling here as their proof that they've mastered it. Resist helping on these pages. If you have to help a lot, then they have not mastered the concept. Go ahead and go back and get some of those other review pages. I also want to point out in book 2, this is about the time where you might find that a student is starting to maybe feel like these are easy. Let me show you some ways that you can make this more challenging. In any of the activities where you have a word bank, like this one is on page 50 of Explode the Code Book 2, you can cover up the word bank and make this activity a lot more challenging because they have to really look at this picture, determine what that word could be, and spell it without any clues. That's a way to make it more challenging. The other thing that you can do is if you go back to your teacher's guide, you can refer to the vocabulary section. A lot of students don't really need that vocabulary review, but if yours does, you can do that. You can also flip to the end of the lesson here and look at the fluency, comprehension, writing, differentiating instruction categories here. Those are lots of really great ways to extend the learning. Or if you're finding that this particular concept is challenging, other ways to teach it if they're not getting it the way that they laid it out initially. That's an overview of how to use Book 2. There will be another video where we'll talk about Book 3. So I'll see you then.